These are some questions that have been put to me about some of the more controversial events in my broadcasting career with those other two idiots. The first one refers to, hold on, the Alabama incident. Right, if you saw it, this is from, I think it's 80 years ago on Top Gear. We were driving through Alabama in 3 cars, a Trans Am, a Cadillac, and I was in a pickup truck. And we decided, the first question here is, in fact, what was the thinking behind it? Well, we decided to paint slogans down the side of our car just to kind of see what people did. And we thought that the slogans would have the same effect as, you know, driving through Cornwall with "I hate cream teas" written down the side, and people would go, "Ah, you whiny, it's stupid." I don't know why they do it in that accent, but they did. But that's not how they responded. I had "Man Love Rules" okay down the side of my pickup. Jeremy had, I think "Country and Western is rubbish," and James had "Hillary for President." We thought it was kind of cheeky. We wanted to provoke a response. We got one. Next question here, how quickly did it go south? Well, we were already south. We were in Alabama, which is very south. And it went south when we pulled onto a petrol forecourt. James's car had been having trouble starting, but we all stopped to fuel up. Jeremy was fueling his Trans Am, and I shuffled over to say hello, at which point a lady walked out, walked out from the petrol station and stood in front of Jeremy and said the following. "Are y'all queers trying to see how long you last in a hick town?" To which Jeremy and I replied, well, sorry? Something like that. At which point we realised there were noises starting, and there were a load of people around the outside of the petrol station throwing stones and then rocks at us and the crew vehicles and all the other vehicles. And then a lot of rocks. And then pickups started arriving with sort of men with beards and shotguns like that, and possibly banjos on the deck of the pickup truck, and were shouting. At which point we realised it's time to run away, by which moment I heard Jeremy's Trans Am start and just leave 11s across the petrol station forecourt, out of there, gone. The crew were running around. Willman threw himself into the nearest car, screamed at the person next to him, "Drive, drive, drive!" To which they said, "Andy, it's left-hand drive, you have the wheel." So they drove off, at which point James said to me, "Hammond, I need a jump start." "Not now!" So you'll see me running about getting the jump leads out whilst coming under, let's be honest, fire, to jumpstart James's Cadillac, and we pulled away. Then it says, when did you realise this was serious? Actually, when we pulled away, we all had CBs in our car because it was kind of fun. And you could hear the locals, "I got them on the freeway. I can see them from here." And they were lining up ahead of us on side roads. And we kept running clean across Alabama all the way to Louisiana, I think. Mississippi, I don't know. New Orleans we ended up in, scared. That was the Alabama incident. We just thought we were being cheeky.
Before we let Richard loose on the internet to research and relive some of the most controversial Top Gear and Grand Tour moments, it's worth remembering that spending time online like this leaves more of a data trail than you might have thought. That's why today's video is sponsored by Incogni. Incogni automatically finds data brokers and people search sites that hold your personal information and removes it for you so you can spend time online in peace. Once you sign up, it works in the background, sending requests and tracking progress automatically. While it's doing its thing, it'll show you what's been removed and what's still in progress. It's time to say goodbye to spam calls, dodgy messages, and take back control over your online data. If there's something specific online that you want gone, Incogni's custom removal feature team will handle it for you. Head on over to incogni.com/DRIVETRIBE and use code DRIVETRIBE for 60% off your annual plan. Now let's see what other moments Richard digs up.
The next one refers to, oh thanks, Rimac. Right, what happened was, we were filming 3 cars. I was in a Rimac, and this was sort of earlier days for electric cars, and it was a bit of a novelty that the thing was just so fast. We'd filmed at an airfield the day before, and the thing had just taken off. And then we were filming on a Swiss hill climb, and on the very last run of the day, I don't know how to dress this up really, I crashed quite heavily. I went off the top of the mountain. fell hundreds of feet, flipped the car over, destroyed it, landed upside down, hanging from the seat belts, broken leg, blah, 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 helicopter, hospital, fixed. The questions are this. What was Mate Rimac's reaction? Mate Rimac of Rimac, he's still very much alive and well in the motor industry now. I think he owns and runs Bugatti. He's like a major player and something of a genius and a major force in the industry. So a very powerful man now. What was his reaction? As far as I understand, concern for me. I mean, this was, I think there were 7 of these cars and they cost millions. And at that point, there were only 6 because I destroyed one. And actually, subsequently, he was quite funny about it. Once he realised I was okay, I think he basically said that was the best publicity we could have had. And I think I was elected their test driver. Well, crash test dummy, which I'm told is different. What were your thoughts when you realised you were going to crash? Ah, interesting. There was something like this. Basically. You do hear me say on the film, "Oh no, I've crashed." I've crashed! Because I had. It was quite observant of me to notice that as I hurtled through the barrier into the sky. Have there been any crashes that never got televised? Yeah, a few. Stuffed a Jaguar, I think it was, into the wall at Laguna. No, I think generally if I crashed, people like to see it. So I think generally they were all... Oh, I once wrapped a Corvette around a petrol pump in Surrey. That wasn't televised. We weren't even... I was on the way to locate. Never. I'm not very good. The next one, Argentina, 2014. God, is it 12 years ago? We'd been filming in Argentina. We were very excited about it. We were going to finish with a football match in the most southern place you could play football. It was really thrilling. But we were chased away by angry mobs, for real. The whole crew, like 80 of us. The questions are, was there real concern or was it exaggerated for the cameras? No, there was real concern. It turned out, and oh God, I'm asked this so often. The number plate on Jeremy's car had the letters FK and L and I think the number's 82 in it. So it was deemed to be a reference to the Falkland Islands War. It wasn't. There were only 2 of those cars. We all wanted V8s. Jeremy wanted that Porsche because the car meant a lot to him. He'd use one to dash to see his father while he was dying, 928. And so he wanted to use one of those. There were only 2 of those cars for sale in the UK. One was knackered. That's the one he bought. When he bought it, it was on a special reg, so it went back onto its original reg, and because they kept the special reg, and that was the reg it was on. We never look at the number plate. It's just what it is. The problem was, it was an election year, and bashing the Brits is good for votes. So the powers that be over there mobilised the trucker union, which is a really powerful union, and said, why don't you go and smash the crap out of these Brits for taking the piss out of us, which we weren't doing. And they got very angry. So it was very real. We all went back and hid in a hotel, and they were circling the hotel. I hid in my room for a bit until... I mean, what was lucky is they managed to get us 3 out because we were targets plus a couple of crew members, and then the rest of them had to drive home. We all went to Buenos Aires, hid out in a hotel room and set up a sort of base camp, talking to embassies, anybody we could to try and get them safe transit out of the country because they were in real danger. What happened as you were leaving, mobs started lighting fires in the road, roadblocks. I mean, I never make light of it because for the crew that actually got out by road until they got to the river and got out of the country. It was a genuinely harrowing experience. How long did the aftermath last? Well, once we were gone, we were gone. I think the aftermath, as far as they were concerned on the ground, probably lasted about 100 years because that's how it must have felt as they were running. But it calmed down pretty quickly because there was nothing to it in the end. But it was, and to all the members of the crew who made that trip, well done. That was terrifying, I know. Final questions that have been put to me in my tea break. Who was the most difficult person on the team to travel with? Any of us. The crew generally not, any of the 3 of us. They used to refer to us on the live show as the pandas because pandas are like these fairly stupid creatures that don't do much. They come out every now and again and people go berserk. That was us. Which car manufacturer did you upset the most? I don't know. I know the Morris Marina fan club was pretty upset because we kept dropping pianos on marinas. I know Ferrari were upset on and off, but then they always are. I mean, I was very rude about the Pura Sangre. I don't think they like me at the moment, but that's how it is with Ferrari. They get a bit protective. They're very Italian. What are you surprised that you got away with? Oh my God, all of it. As a closing question, that's an interesting one. I'm surprised we got away with doing what we did, not in terms of being deliberately contentious or controversial. I'm surprised we got away with crossing, oh God, so many countries, with so many people in so many vehicles doing so many things, and nobody got badly hurt. I did a couple of times, but that doesn't matter. No bystanders, no people. When you're tearing 80 cars through an African village in Botswana, or Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, wherever we've been, late at night, rushing to where we're camping, it used to scare me. It would only need one kid to walk out onto the dust track and there could be a disaster. Thankfully, everybody was always on their toes and we got away with it and nobody was hurt. Some people were upset. Some people were offended. Some people want to be offended. Some people want to be offended on other people's behalf, which I think is the worst form of cultural appropriation. But by and large, nobody was physically hurt, apart from me. Doesn't matter. So that's what I'm surprised we got away with. I'm surprised we got away with it physically. But it was a joy and an honour, and thanks for coming on the ride with us. Right, it's time for my tea break. Go and have your own.